Hi, I am reaching out to you guys today as parents because I wanted to fill you in a little bit on our IEW program. Our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders will continue IEW, and I believe that Miss Osentowski has been teaching it to them in 4th and 5th grade. But I wanted to show you a little bit about what middle school might look like and how we do things in middle school IEW. I will teach our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders IEW, which is our writing program, every Wednesday. My name is Mrs. Joyce, and I have been teaching IEW at Our Lady of Lourdes I think, about 5 or 6 years now, maybe a little longer. I've lost track. It is one of the best writing programs I've ever come across, and I love it. And I hope that after our students leave the 8th grade, they will be as confident in writing as I have seen. Our kids leave so prepared for high school, and I believe that this program is one of the reasons for that. I just wanted to give you a little introduction to IEW, so when things come across your front door at home, you feel comfortable with what the assignments are. I'm not going to read this. This I took from the IEW website. Obviously, you can go back and look at it. But it basically says that IEW is a program that teaches learning how to write based on imitation. And the idea is that you're building a strong foundation by imitating skills from solid writers. And then kind of making them your own. And I've seen it work, so I hope that you'll give us the benefit of the doubt. IEW classes are every Wednesday for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. What we do is we read what we call a source text, which is kind of like a paragraph or a story, and from that we create an outline. You'll hear it referred to as the KWO, the keyword outline. After they do that, we, as a class, brainstorm ideas for them to use different types of words that they can use in their individual rewrite. They are given a checklist from me of what has to be in their rewrite. Then they take the outline and their checklist, and they create their own writing, which is basically just a rewrite of the original source text. So it'll have similar information, basically the same information, but they're just putting it now into their own words and trying to make it sound a little bit different than the original writer. We encourage our students to get their rough drafts edited by an adult at home to eliminate some poor grades, spelling errors, punctuation errors, run-on sentences, things like that. So please jump in and help students edit if they ask you to. Once they're corrected, they need to print them out at home and bring it to school. Since IEW is every Wednesday, the assignments are assigned on Wednesday and they're due the next Wednesday. If a student is on top of things and they get it done in 2 days and they have it done on Friday, they can bring it to school and turn it in where IEW assignments are turned in. They have a drawer for that at school, and they just slip it in the drawer when it's done. But they have a week and it's due the next week. Regarding printing, we hope that they'll print everything at home, but we understand that that's not always available. So they can, during recess hours or before school or after school with a teacher's permission, they can go down to the library and print out their assignments. A turned-in assignment includes what they printed, their paragraph, and the checklist that I gave them, stapled together without exception. So I'm going to go through what this assignment might look like so you have an idea of the step by step of what we do. This is a typical source text. It would be, this is kind of how we start the year. This one is about Sherlock Holmes. I'll just quickly read it. Sherlock Holmes was a famous investigator in some of the most memorable detective stories ever written. The fictional character was born in 1854 in London, England. Details of his family are few and are hardly mentioned in any of the stories. Holmes liked classical music and the opera. He was observant, intelligent, and alert. He was also very good with disguises, which he used all of the time while investigating crimes. Just a simple paragraph. Lots of information. What we do is take it in the beginning. We start with taking sentence by sentence the 3 most important words. It's really that simple in the beginning. It gets more complicated as we go through the year, but that's how we start the year. So we take the 3 most important words. As you can see, this goes through sentence by sentence. I'm going to do this quickly because I don't want to bore you with all the details of how I teach the students, but you can see up in the right-hand corner, the keyword outline is being developed, 1 sentence at a time. You'll see on here that sometimes we use little symbols, sometimes we use pictures. Those are free words. They don't count towards the 3 words that they can only have on the line because they can only use 3 words per line. So once we have this keyword outline done, then I take away that source text. They don't see that paragraph again. They now have an outline, and they take the outline and then they make the paragraph. This is why I don't recommend that students wait a week to do their homework for IEW, because that paragraph is fresh in their mind on Wednesday when they come home. So the quicker they can get their IEW homework done, the better off they're going to be. So this was our keyword outline. We would start with the first line of it, Sherlock Holmes, investigator, stories. What did that say about Sherlock Holmes, an investigator, and stories? They pull all that together and they write their own sentence. I encourage them to use a thesaurus. I use thesaurus.com. And so I went through and found a thesaurus for investigator, famous, and then for story, to try and find different words that I could use. This is the sentence I wrote. Sherlock Holmes is one of the most notorious private eyes from literature. So that's my sentence from those 3 words. Kind of says the same thing, but it's written a little bit differently. And then we go to the next line. Born 1854, London, England. Well, instead of saying he was born in 1854 in London, England, I use a thesaurus. I think about what are other ways I could say that he was born. And what I came up with was in 1854, the character came to life from London, England. So I'm constantly looking for other ways to say things different from maybe how it was written in the paragraph or just the first thing that pops into my head. And these are the things that I talk to my students about. So I'm going to kind of whip through this. The third one says, while little is disclosed about Mr. Holmes's early life, that was that line, I combined it with line number 3. That said classical music and opera. And I said the books mentioned his admiration for classical music and opera. So as you can see, I had combined lines 2 and 3 into just one sentence. It's a little bit more advanced skill that our 7th and 8th graders should be able to be using. Line 4 said he was observant, intelligent, and alert. So I looked those up in the thesaurus because those were characteristics about him. That's what made him a good detective. So I said, it is clear that he was mindful, brilliant, vigilant to become a stellar detective. So again, trying to use the information given, but write it maybe back in a different way. Number 5, the disguises were used to investigate. You can see how I used the number 2 as a symbol for the word 2. Numbers are free, so they're allowed to do that. Again, it's just an outline, so however it's done is fine. Mr. Holmes was also known for using trickery and illusion to solve his mysteries. So again, the goal is for students to take the source text writing and rewrite the information in their own words. So as you can see here from left to right, the source text said Sherlock Holmes was a famous investigator in some of the most memorable detective stories ever written. That was what we started with. I rewrote in Sherlock Holmes is one of the most notorious private eyes from literature. So we're just trying to find a way to give the information back, but maybe do it a little bit differently. Again, I combined those lines there. Instead of saying he was observant, intelligent, and alert, I changed those words to mindful, brilliant, and vigilant, although they mean the same thing. Those are synonyms. So this is just an example. This is what we're shooting for. Again, it takes practice. When they come in at sixth grade, normally students are just trying to kind of regurgitate the information, and they're not ready yet to spend that kind of energy on the right words. But by seventh and eighth grade, we really are spending a lot of time on choosing the correct wording and being very specific about that, about the word choice. So, like I said, it does take practice. I always have parents who are a little uncomfortable with the fact that I say I would like for you to edit their papers. I'm not asking for you to have the skills of an AP English teacher. So here's kind of a list of what I'm looking for. Do you see words that are spelled incorrectly? Most of the time on the computer, they're underlined in red or another color, and they're giving you hints that something is not right. Does each sentence begin with a capital letter and end with the correct punctuation? Are the sentences separated, or have they smashed several sentences together to make run-ons? That's one of our most common errors, especially in sixth grade. Have you looked at the checklist to see that what I asked them to do, they've actually done? There are things that they have to underline. There are things that they have to put in bold. Do you see those items in their paragraph? And then number 5 says, has the student eliminated banned words? I do give them lists of words that they cannot use because they're overused and they're too easy. And so we are trying to get them to reach out and be a little more selective about their word choice. So that's it. I think we can all handle that. Here's my phone number and my email at school. I hope that you'll reach out anytime that you have questions. I'll answer it as quickly as I can. I don't sit on my phone, so you'll have to be patient with me. But as soon as I see something, I will get back to you. So I hope to have a great year. I know IEW is sometimes a challenge for kids. Kids are scared of writing, but I have found that they are very successful with the IEW program. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the school year.